Okay, so let's take a look at these videos of cruise vacations that turned into a complete disaster. And make sure you watch to the end as I share my own personal experience on my birthday cruise that I took with Royal
Going on a
Caribbean.
girls trip always end bad, and I will forever go on a solo date trip with my boyfriend every year for my birthday. I felt like I did it all right. I booked the cruise in advance 5 months prior, sorted out the pricing, booked the flights. Friend number one, a month before the trip, starts wigging out. Like, oh, I talked to my mom. I don't know if I should go. I don't know if I should go. So I'm telling my best friend that already told me before ahead of time that she couldn't go. I'm telling her the situation, like the girl don't know if she want to go. I don't want her to ruin the mood, like da 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 da. My best friend invites herself and said, girl, fuck that. I just got into a settlement. I can go in her place anyway. It'll be fun. So I'm so happy. Like, oh, my real best friend coming. We're going shopping. We're getting ready for the trip. I'm so excited. The night before, so at this point, my friend that was originally supposed to go, she's like, should I go? Should I not go? I convinced her not to go at this point. Because I'm like, if you're confused, I'm just going to convince her not to go. Because my other best friend that I'm really close with is going to go and everything's going to be fine and everything's going to work out. So my best friend ended up paying the money to, or whatever, get her spot, secure her spot. And then tell me why the night before the trip, the night before I flight to Miami, because you got to fly to the port, my best friend said she talked to her man and she feel like she shouldn't go on the cruise. So I'm like doing whatever to convince my friend, like, hey, like why would you not go? Like, why would you not go? Like the night before. Anyways, I couldn't convince her to go. So now I'm finding a alternate to replace the alternate. So she's trying to find her birth certificate, trying to get she literally got 8 hours to prepare to go on a cruise. Anyway, she ends up making it. Then I realized I booked like the wrong flights on American. She ended up getting us some flights to Delta and pieced that shit up. To this day, I don't know how she did it, but we ended up making it to that damn port, honey. She asked me, she was like, how much do I need to pay for, old girl spot? So at this point, I said, you don't got to pay nothing because she forfeit at the last minute. And when we called, they said that you can't get your money back from a cruise if you don't put insurance on it or whatever. I called them, they wasn't giving her money back, and I don't have the $500 to give because you didn't know if you was gonna come. So like, I land in Miami, I'm arguing with friend number one because she's like, why would you sit here and let her take my spot for free? I'm like, well, you said you wasn't going, you forfeit your money. If you call Carnival and tell them to get your money back, then you could do that. But as far as me making her pay, I'm not doing that because she didn't have the same courtesy of getting everything ready. Then alternate number two is like, hey, let me know when they send the money back for the flight. I'm like, they don't even give money back for the flight. But I end up disputing the flight and they end up getting my money back. So I gave her money back, her little $300 back. At this point, I'm just irritated because it's just like, I just feel like everybody was just so inconsiderate. No one cares that it's my birthday, right? But then the story gets worse. So then we're at the Bahamas and my friend that pieced up the flights is like, okay, I'm gonna do your makeup. I'm gonna do everything. We're gonna do photos, all that. We get there, she starts having a nasty ass attitude. She said that she was pregnant. Didn't even know she was pregnant. So she started wigging out because she didn't have a towel to use for the shower. But at this point, I'm just fed up and we just getting into it. And she's like, I'm about to call a ride home. I'm about to get somebody to drive to come get me, and just on the phone acting like she about to go. So then me and the other friend that's been the most nice and easy to work with this whole time, we're in the rental car. She pulls back the seat. My phone was in the crack, didn't even think about it, and my phone shatters. So now I feel like my birthday is ruined because I can't take no pictures. My makeup is not done. Everybody's saying I'm owing them money. I done convinced this girl to stop going just for my best friend to punk out the night before we leave. My friend that skedaddled and was able to hop on a flight in 8 hours is pregnant and she got mood swings. My other friend that gave me no type of problems ended up accidentally breaking my phone and starts crying about it because now I'm irritated. I'm like, can we go half for you to get my phone fixed? And it's just shambles. Then me and the friend that broke my phone is at the casino. We're both helping. We both playing. She won $100. Do you think that she helped me pay my phone, get my phone fixed, or you think she kept that $100? This is the thing. A lot of women are selfish and inconsiderate, moody, and I just feel like the more girls you add to a girl trip, the more stressful that shit is. If I cannot go with my man, I'm not going with nobody. And to this day, these same friends be like, can we go out of town together? And I just be like, hell, fuck.
My family and I got kicked off of our cruise before the boat even left the port. So let me tell you about it. Around like October, November time, my dad and I are trying to figure out what our family vacation is going to be for the next year. He's not much of a pre-planner. It is very hard to get this man to commit to something. We were like gonna go to Georgia. We were gonna go to like Tybee Island. Then we were gonna go to like Charleston, South Carolina. We did a cruise last year and my dad had a lot more than he thought he was gonna have. I'm graduating college in a couple weeks, so it was kind of like my graduation trip, but like not really. It's just a family vacation that happens to be in the month that I'm graduating. So I literally spend like weeks and weeks like looking up all these different cruise dates, looking up all these different boats, looking at all these different cruise lines, the destinations, and I finally pick one that my dad and I can agree on. We like the destination, we like the boat, we like the cruise line, we agree. We put our money down. Bought it like in December. I can't remember when, but we bought it before Christmas time. Set up the payments to go through on like certain dates because it wouldn't let us pay in full like sitting right then and there. I don't know why. We had to set up like a payment plan. So we set up like most of the payment to be paid in January and then the rest to be paid in February. It was all due like the first day of March. Never check anything. I don't know why no one ever thought of that, but the payment plan was set up. Nothing happened to my dad's credit cards, so we just like assumed that it would be fine. One day I go to check in and our cruise is not on my little app. I'm like, this is a glitch. This is a glitch. I get on my email and I try to log in online and it says we do not have a reservation. I log into my boyfriend's account because I know his login. So I log in on my boyfriend's account and I'm like, this looks suspicious. So I call my dad and I'm like, hey dad, like, can you see our cruise? Like, I kind of need to check us in. And he can't see our cruise. And I'm like, So we still have everything set up to go onto my mom's email. Like, my dad just kind of like adopted that email. I log into my mom's email / my dad's email and I'm like looking up Royal Caribbean to see like any of our past emails. My dad literally had like 8 emails saying like, payment failed, payment canceled, pay your reservation or it's gonna get canceled, like pay it. Literally, my dad had been getting email after email after email to pay this thing because for some reason the payment plan we set up got canceled. Tell me why. Our cruise got canceled. Canceled our room, canceled our drinks package, canceled our damn excursions, like canceled every single thing I had been planning for months. Oh my god. I'm on the phone with my dad at this point and I'm trying so hard not to yell at him because it's not like I looked at the email either, you know, like I didn't see it either, even though it's not my email, but like whatever. I'm like not yelling at him, I'm crying. My boyfriend sitting in the room with me and I'm just like crying, just immense distraught, heartbroken, heart shattered. We're like googling what to do. We're like googling if this has happened to anybody else. We're like looking for stuff on like Reddit and shit on like what to do when your cruise gets canceled. There was a pretty large sum of money that was not refundable. We didn't really want to be refunded. We wanted to be on the cruise. It would have just been a lot of money wasted. Ended up finding that this actually happens to low-key a lot of people. So the next morning my dad called up Royal Caribbean's customer service and told them what happened. They said our room was still available because literally I caught this like 4 days after they canceled our reservation, maybe even less than that. Still had our room available, they still had everything available, but we did have to pay some fees. We had to pay what the room would have been had we booked it that day. That was a little bit more expensive. The excursions were a little bit more expensive. The drinks package was a little bit more expensive. Yeah, we got penalized a little bit for that, but hey, we are still going on our cruise. Oh, thank Jesus. Lesson learned, always check your parents' email and stay on top of your vacation plans because they might just kick you off the damn boat.
So as promised, let's do the story time of how I got left in the Bahamas by my cruise ship with no passport and a man that I was barely dating. So I meet this guy on Bumble in September 2021. We start talking, we start seeing each other regularly. I make the big joke, I'm his Wednesday girl, right? I essentially see him every Wednesday. Come January, so a couple months in, it's his birthday, and he takes me out to his birthday dinner with all of his friends. So I got upgraded to weekend girl status, and that was a big joke in our relationship. So I'm thinking like, okay, we're on the right path. Although we didn't have a conversation about being in a relationship, I'm thinking we are, right? We're doing everything that people in relationships do. I've met his family and friends. So come March, he's like, hey, I was able to take a week off of vacation because he can't usually, the way his job works, it's seasonal. He's like, you want to go away with me? Yeah, like, of course I want to go on vacation, but I don't know if I can take off. Fun fact, I could. So we go back and forth. What do you want to do? Let's go on a cruise. It's easy, it's simple, everything's all in one, not a lot of logistics. So we book a cruise. So I go home that night on like a Wednesday. I need like some information from him that I wouldn't have, like his driver's license number and stuff. And he's not getting back to me. He's like total ghost mode. So he was probably with his Wednesday girl, but he gets back to me by the end of the night. I book this cruise. We get on the cruise ship on Sunday, and the cruise ship itinerary keeps changing. They said it was weather, so we missed a port. We spent another like extra time in a different port. It was kind of weird. It wasn't the exact itinerary we booked, but shit happens, and we're just going with it at this point. But we kind of realized that we're not that compatible. So he likes to get drunk, like shit-faced, and talk to everybody he sees. And I like to sit in the corner with a drink and people watch. And so we're doing a little push-pull, but we're trying to make the best of it. Tuesday night, we have reservations at the nice Italian restaurant on the ship. We get dressed up to go to dinner, and we start talking at dinner, and I bring up something about my family or my sister, and this man just goes full ham. And he's raising his voice, he's being condescending. I'm about to cry in my ravioli. Like, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know this guy. This is crazy. But take a second, breathe. I'm on this boat with him for another 5 days. Okay, so I don't have to like him after this, but we got to get through these 5 days. And like, you're on a cruise ship, there's no reason not to have fun. So he realizes it too. We talked about it after the fact. And so we both get drunk that night. Look, it is what it is. Nobody was driving. The next day we are going deep sea fishing, something he really wanted to do. I'm all about it. I love fishing. I love all that stuff. So it is a very early in the morning excursion. We're like the first people off the boat. But because we had drank the night before, we did not check the itinerary for what time to be back on the boat. And we couldn't get our phones to load. It was kind of crazy. But we figured, safe bet, half-day excursion that ends at 12:30. We'll get back on the boat by 3. It's going to be fine. We go deep sea fishing. We don't catch a single fish. He uses his phone to plug into the boat for music all day for everybody. So his phone is dead. We get off of the fishing charter thing, and it's like 12:30. I'm like, hey, listen, like, you've never been here. Let's try and salvage this a little bit. Like, let's go to Senior Frog, sit on the water, have some drinks, and just relax. So we do. He's all about it. We go, and there's zero conversation. I'm trying to make conversation. I'm a people pleaser. Like, I just keep putting myself out there. He is looking at anybody and everything that is not me. He will not even look at me. And his phone is dead. So his usual go-to would be like, oh, he's got to scroll on his phone. He can't even look at his phone because it's dead. So I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. So we order some food. We each get a drink. And you hear the notable honk of a cruise ship they have to do like before they pull out of the port. And it's still trying to make conversation. I'm like, yo, how funny would it be if that was our cruise ship? This man dead ass is like, oh yeah, it would be so funny. Okay, buddy. Won't bother you anymore with conversation. Sorry. So I'm sitting there, and then I look over my shoulder. Guess whose cruise ship is moving? Oh. Ours. It's moving. So I don't know why we did it. It doesn't make sense in hindsight, but I throw $300 on the table to cover our drinks and our food. It was probably a whopping $50, but and we start sprinting. We're running. And we get to the port. We not so graciously cut in front of everybody that was still trying to get on the other 4 cruise ships that were there. The port agent pulls us aside. He's like, the cruise ship didn't tell us they were leaving anybody. Usually they do. Usually they'll go in your room and they'll take like your travel documents, medication, money, wallets, whatever, and leave it at the port for you. But they didn't do it this time. But it was also COVID, right? So I'm like, oh my God. So the port agent puts us in his personal vehicle to show us where to go tomorrow. He's like, you're going to need to get a hotel and emergency passports at the embassy. Thankfully, when we got off the boat in the morning, something told me, I had like one of those little waterproof boxes. I put our birth certificates in that box. And neither one of us had passports. I have never had one. I've only traveled outside the country with the military, so I didn't need one. And his had expired during COVID. But something told me to take those. So I did. So we're driving up to the embassy, and the guy's like, they're going to be closed because it's already like 2:30 at this point. Like, okay, great. This man, God bless him, I will give him this credit to the day I die. He stepped up and was thinking clearly when I'm thinking my father's gonna kill me. How am I getting home? And he's like, get out of the car. We get out of the car, we start talking to the security guard at the embassy. He's like, they're not gonna let you in. But he lets me get on the phone with somebody inside. This person gives me the paperwork we need to fill out for the emergency passport and tells me exactly what we need to do. So she's like, you have to go get passport photos today or you won't be able to get your passports in the morning. I'll write the address on a post-it and put it on the paperwork for you. Go now. So my phone's at 30% battery because I didn't think I was going to be needing to use it. So we're running through the streets to get to this passport photo place before it closes. So we were on a deep sea fishing excursion. All right. I am wearing a bikini and booty shorts, flip-flops with my little backpack with like nothing in it. He is wearing an American flag bathing suit and a t-shirt that says only fish. Yes, like OnlyFans, but only fish. All right. We get to the passport photo place. We bust through the door like, we need passport photos now. And the guy looks at me, he goes, I can't do your passport photo. Sir, if you understood the day I was having, what do you mean you're not going to do my passport photo? And he's like, there's legal requirements. Like, you're not dressed appropriately for a passport photo. So I look at this man and I'm like, give me your shirt. Give me your shirt. So he's standing there in no shirt. And we both took our passport photos in an Only Fish t-shirt. Yeah. Yep. For the next 9 years, I have a passport photo in an Only Fish t-shirt. So just put that one into your memory hole. So we find a hotel. We kind of realize really quickly, like, we're going to have to become a team here. All right. So we find a hotel. They tell us you can only stay one night. It's spring break. Like, you're out in the morning. There's nothing we can do about it. We have no availability. You need to leave tomorrow. We do all the paperwork. We go across the street to Margaritaville Resort. We get 1 t-shirt, 2 toothbrushes. We each get a phone charger, 1 thing of deodorant, and it's like $190. But we're like, we're gonna survive. We go to the bar there. The bartender is super sweet. This guy spills a margarita, just picks the margarita glass up, right? It's a glass with ice, and just goes and dumps it on himself because he was that all over the place, right? And we had been running around out in the sun all day. It was just funny. The bartender thinks our story is hilarious. So does everybody else at the bar. And he's like, listen, I can't do anything today because it's late. But tomorrow after work, if you're still here and you need, I will take you to go get clothes. We'll take care of you. I got you. Here's my phone number. So we go back to the hotel. I wash all of our clothes in the sink. All of them in the sink, and hang them up to dry so that we're good the next day. So go to part 2 for what happens when we go to the embassy the next day.
What would you do if you spent $3,500 on a cruise for everybody in your family and one person ends up missing one document that is not going to allow them to get on the boat? Like, there's no way around it. The document is literally 31 hours away in another state that's in a whole nother time zone. And you don't figure this out until 2 days before the cruise leaves. And those 2 days happen to be over a weekend and a holiday weekend at that. So getting the document mailed to you is out of the question. And even though you put trip protection on said cruise, first of all, canceling it just distraughts everybody in the house, especially your 3 children and the other family that you're going with. But feelings aside, let's just talk about the money. All of the reasons that you can even get your money back from canceling the cruise with the protection that you bought are not reasons that you can actually use, because all it is that you forgot a document, and none of that is covered. It's only like illness, death, military, jury duty, or you lost your house or something like that. So the closest thing that you can even say is a doctor, but they want proof from a physician that you actually are sick and that your sickness is preventing you from coming on a cruise. So not that you just had a headache the day before, but like, nah, you can't go on this cruise because you got COVID. Nobody is actually sick. You don't know a physician that can even help you out. So you can't even use the cruise protection. If you cancel, you get none of your money back. You check flights but ain't no flights that's going in and going out except for one that can have you leave this day at 9 and be back 6 o'clock p.m. the next day, only to have to turn around at 4 o'clock in the morning to get on the road for the 6-hour drive. But that flight $1,400. Because outside of cry and then come to my social media to vent, I ain't got no other ideas. Because unless I'm gonna start a GoFundMe, or all my dang followers from all my social media send me 50 cents, crying is the only option.
Okay, story time. I need some help. Last week, my husband and I booked a cruise for our family of 4 to go on Royal Caribbean on a spring break trip in March. I completed the entire booking on my phone and paid for the cruise in full using Apple Pay at the end of the process. I was presented with a confirmation page. I even received a link or some sort of request for me to take a survey to ask how my booking experience was. A short time after booking, I logged into my bank account and I did see that the charge had been posted to my bank account for the full amount of the cruise. The next day, I downloaded the Royal Caribbean app and logged in and did not see my cruise. There was an option to add a cruise. So I entered my last name and my confirmation number, and the system told me it had added my cruise. I still did not see it on the app, so I tried to add it again, and the system told me, you've already successfully added your cruise. So I just assumed it was going to take a few days for it to show up. I had a really busy week at work and did not look at the app again until today, and I still did not see the cruise listed there. So I logged into my desktop and didn't see it there either. So I called the customer service department at Royal Caribbean to see if they could add the cruise to my app, and they informed me that my reservation had been released because I never paid for the cruise. I obviously disagreed and said, I know I've paid for the cruise. I asked to, of course, speak to a manager, and they said, the manager says, we don't see a cruise booked here, you just need to rebook. So I called my bank, and they said, yes, we see the charge here. But what we also see is that it has not been accepted by the merchant, and the merchant is Royal Caribbean. So I called Royal Caribbean back. Their offices were closed for the day. So I selected the option to make a payment on my cruise to see what would happen. I entered my confirmation number, and the system told me your cruise has been paid in full, and I have a recording of that. So at this point, my payment is somewhere in La La Land. My bank has confirmed that the payment is out there. Royal Caribbean has no record of it, according to them, and they want me to rebook the cruise. And I considered doing that. I went online, I was like, I'm just going to rebook it and then I'll block that other payment. But now the cruises are 25% more expensive. And for a family of 4, that's a pretty significant amount. So I'm tagging Royal Caribbean, and I'm hoping that somebody sees this that can help me, because the customer service department was not helpful. And then for those of you that work in a payment and billing department, how does my payment just get stuck like that? How does the merchant not see it and not accept it? How does that even happen?
Now, I gotta talk about this trip from hell with Royal Caribbean. Okay, now first off, this was my birthday trip, right? And me and my man, I had planned for us to go on a cruise, right? Because he's never been. So it was a 3-day cruise with Allure of Seas to the Bahamas. So first off, let me just start from the beginning. Okay, so the day of, because it's always best to fly in a day before your flight, right? So that Thursday we planned to fly in, but me and all the stuff that's going on, we kind of, rushing to do everything. We ended up missing our flight. So we booked American Airlines basic economy tickets. So you know the deal with that. Like, you got to pay a fee if you want. And that's the thing. Like, I know I shouldn't fly basic economy, but honestly, I just can't get past paying for a seat. Like, when the hell did that become a thing? Okay, like, they want to charge for everything. I remember back in the day, the ticket that you bought came with a seat. Now they want to charge for seats and everything else. So that's why I got basic economy. I'm not really a fan of American. Delta's more my airline of choice. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we missed our Thursday flight through American. So of course they don't got nothing the morning of, like, and I'm like, how do you not have no flights Friday morning from the city I'm leaving from? So that was another issue in itself. So anyway, we ended up booking Spirit, and luckily that had a straight flight to Florida where we need to be. So I booked Spirit, which was like $500, but that left Friday morning. So okay, we get on Spirit, whatever. And you know, with holiday season in December, I didn't think nothing of it because the airport in my hometown, like, it's not really busy like that. So we so lucky to where, like, you can fly in up to an hour. I mean, I'm sorry, you can get there an hour and a half before your flight because it don't get really crowded like that. But man, was I wrong that Friday morning. We got there at like 4:45. The flight left, it was leaving at 5:55, and when we get there, line is just like packed, like literally. I've never seen that airport like that, even during holiday season. Like, I've never seen that airport like that. So anyway, we get to Spirit. Of course, that line is long, and we just made it to check in our bag. Like, we was literally like, if we would have been 5 minutes later, we would not have been able to check in our bag. Now, mind you, we got a big suitcase because we planning to, you know, buy souvenirs, stuff like that. So anyway, we checked the bag in our Spirit, go through TSA, and I'm like nervous. Like, I didn't tell my man that because he has anxiety, so I didn't want to like worry him, but I'm like literally like, oh my god, if we miss this flight, like, it's just not meant to be, because I'm not going through this again. Like, you know how cruises are, it leaves at 4. Like, if we miss this flight, we're basically effed, right? So luckily we made it through the line, and of course my bag gets checked through TSA, and my carry-on, the issue was I had a freaking water bottle. Like, really, I tagged it for a water bottle? Like, come on now. But anyway, so threw it out, whatever. And this is how bad the crowd was. We weren't the last ones to board our flight. Like, it was full, of course, but like, they held the plane. So luckily they held it, I'm guessing because of the direct flight, but that's how backed up TSA was through security. Like, they ended up holding the flight, which was great, because I'm like, oh, thank goodness. You know, I would have been pissed if we missed this flight. Okay, so finally we land in Fort Lauderdale. Then we go, because we left out of Miami, the cruise ship. So we get there, whatever. And I don't know, like, if you're familiar with traveling, Fort Lauderdale, Miami is at least 30-45 minutes. So whatever. So we get an Uber. Now, this dude was so freaking weird. Like, he literally sat on his phone the whole time, didn't say one word to us, didn't help us put our suitcase in, nothing. Now, granted, I had my man with me, but still, like, I always thought, like, you know, Uber drivers at least help you lift your suitcase up. Like, he barely said hi. Like, he was rude as all get out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, I hope you're not thinking you're getting a tip. Like, because that's the thing, a lot of these gig jobs, like, you don't have to do them, and that's what people need to understand. Like, especially if you do Uber, Lyft, stuff like that, like, best practice is to be engaging with, you know, your passenger. Like, he didn't small talk us not one time. It almost became to where it's like we was bothering him, and it's like, well, you picked us up, like, you know what I'm saying? And then his car was hot, like, we getting overheated. I didn't even feel comfortable, you know, asking him to turn on the AC up, because he was just so not engaged. So I'm like, all right, whatever, just at this point, just get us to the port, because this was over $50 ride. Okay, so we get on the ship, Royal Caribbean, Lord of Seas, and that's one thing I will say, that they were very organized, as opposed, because I'm a Carnival cruiser, they were very organized. Like, they, you know, it was smooth getting on the boat and everything else. Like, check-in was real smooth. So we get on the boat, and of course, like, when you go on the boat, you want to eat. Like, you trying to save your appetite, you know, because on the cruise it's all you can eat. So we waiting, like, we didn't check our bag in. We carried it on, because that's the thing, I'm not trying to wait till 6 o'clock for my bag. Like, I'm just not doing it. So while we in Windjammer eating us some lunch, why one of their employees for Royal Caribbean decides to come up to us, you know, small talk, and say, oh, hey, where you going? I'm like, this is a 3-day cruise going to Bahamas. And he literally smiles, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh, you guys aren't going there. And I'm like, huh? He was like, yeah, the weather's bad there. There's a 90% chance you're not going. And me and my man, we just looking like, like, what is he talking about? Like, we just laugh it off because we think you're joking. You know, he laughing about it too, the employee, smiling about it. And we just, that kind of went over our heads. We just like, whatever, you know, it's Friday, it's sunny, you know, no rain, no wind in sight. So we just chuck it up to, he just talking. Okay, so next day, why on Saturday, after we get off Coco Cay, they're gonna make an announcement. The captain gonna make an announcement talking about some due to weather, we not going to Nassau. And we just look like, huh? And see, that's the thing, like, he's never been on a cruise. I've been on plenty of cruises. Like I said, I don't even do Carnival. So this was his first cruise, and I mainly booked it because, you know, I didn't know how he was gonna do it, and I wanted to go to the Bahamas. So you mean to tell me that we not going to the Bahamas? But the thing is, we can go to y'all little private island, Coco Cay. Nobody, not to be funny, but Coco Cay is nice and everything, but Coco Cay is more for kids. Like, you buy little souvenirs, you sit on the beach, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure most people on that ship would have preferred to go to Nassau instead of the Bahamas. And for y'all to make that announcement right after we get on the boat saying we ain't going, like I said, it made me go back to that employee on Friday. Y'all knew the whole time, all 3,000, however many of us, when we got on that boat Friday, we was not going to Nassau. And that's the deceit stuff I don't like. Like, y'all get all this money weekly. This is a weekly cruise. And you mean to tell me that we, you know, y'all not gonna go to Nassau? Okay, if the weather's bad, okay, that's fine, but let people know up front. Y'all knew up front we was not going on when we got on that boat Friday, and that's why my employee said that. So, you know, that's the deceitfulness I don't like. And then of course, you know, these crew talking about it's in their contract, we can't get the port fees back. What are you talking about? We didn't go there. Like, how do we not get the port fees back? That's ridiculous. They gave us some 17 like something dollar credit for getting back to Miami early. That doesn't make sense. And then when I go to guest services to have them explain it, they don't even know how to explain it. So what is this, just a random number y'all came up with to refund us? No, y'all need to give us that port feedback. And then when you call, like, these companies are so crappy, and it makes me not want to travel for a while, because it's like people work hard to plan these trips like that. And I kept telling, when I call customer service, you know, trying to explain the story, it's just like nobody gives a damn. Like, y'all work, I mean, y'all make too much money to sit here and not refund people that port fee. This is a weekly cruise. Y'all make millions, like, weekly. And for y'all to sit up here and just chuck it up to, oh, that's just part of the contract. No. And like I told them, I would never book with Royal. I don't care if it's the last cruise on earth. As much as I love cruises, I would never book with them. And I told them, y'all have ruined my man's first cruise experience. Like, this was his first time, and that's what I felt bad for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was his first time ever cruising, and it's like y'all ruined the experience. And the fact y'all don't give a crap. That's why I'm saying, like, these companies really don't give a crap, and that's why I don't give a crap with them. Like, Royal's done. Like, I would never book with them again. We got some nice pictures at Coco Cay, and that's the thing, we couldn't even get no souvenirs because, you know, it's holiday season. I wanted to get my family like some stuff from the Bahamas. I couldn't even do that because y'all didn't decide to dock. And then the crazier part about it is, on our flight on the way back home, it was this guy, he had a Nassau hat, and I'm like, oh, you went to Nassau? He was like, yeah, I went with Carnival on a cruise. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I asked him, I said, well, how's the weather? And he was like, oh, it wasn't too bad. Okay, so y'all decided not to go, give us a raggedy sea day. And that's the thing, even with the sea day, it wasn't no rain, no wind in sight. So y'all just making these decisions whole time. If y'all even would have went like half, y'all didn't even give us a half a day. Y'all just gave us nothing. And that's the thing, like, I was so livid. I would never go Royal again. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to share my vacation horror story, and that these companies ain't nothing, and I'm gonna be watching where I spend my money with trips moving forward. And I told my man, I said, I won't be traveling for a while. Like, this really put a bad taste in my mouth. It's holiday season. We done saved up and paid all this money to go, only for us not go to the Bahamas. I want to redo. But anyway, I think now my next, cause I love Carnival. Carnival will always be there. But, that was another thing, like, people, kids, and I don't know, I just didn't like Royal. Like, I liked that the ship was really nice and stuff, but after a while, like, and then that's the thing with them big mega ships, like, you got to reserve everything, and then if you don't reserve it at a certain time, it's sold out. Like, I don't got time for that. Like, Carnival, you could just go, to a comedy show, wherever, and just show up and have a good time. Like, with them, you got to reserve stuff, and it's like, I don't want to do that sometimes, you know what I'm saying, because then half the time we reserved stuff and then we didn't go because we was tired. So it's like, I don't, other than that. And then it's like they like customers, like people on the boat, like they was just real like snooty and standoffish. Like, Carnival be lit, party and stuff like that. They was just real kind of. And then you get to them buffets, and then people, they let their kids like get all that stuff, waste all that stuff, and it's like not washing their hands. Like, So we said that our next cruise is gonna be Virgin, because I don't, and that's the thing, I don't mind kids, but it's like sometimes I just want a kid-free vacation. I'm sorry. So my next cruise is definitely going to be Virgin. And I'm hoping for a better experience than I had with Royal, because Royal is done. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rant about my vacation from HE double hockey sticks from Royal. Take care.